The OIC Gambia Secretariat and government officials on Tuesday held a press conference to discuss the outcome of the just concluded 15th edition of the OIC Banjul Summit. The media conference also geared towards updating the public on critical areas around the country's hosting of the Islamic Convergence, where thousands of delegates from various OIC member countries met to discuss pressing issues facing the Muslim world. The Gambia is said to have benefited greatly from the summit of the second largest gathering in the world, as President Barrow was elected chairman of the OIC for the next 3 years. Our reporter Yahya Jammeh has more details of that in this report.
Established in 2018, the OIC Gambia Secretariat was tasked with the strategic intent to mobilize necessary resources for the coordination and implementation of all programmings and projects needed for the country's successful hosting of the OIC Heads of State Summit. Barely 7 years after, the Gambia has been widely praised for the successful hosting of the world's second largest governmental gathering, where thousands of delegates from the 57 OIC member countries converge in Banjul for the Islamic Conference. Owing to this landmark achievement, the Gambia OIC Secretariat and government officials held a media conference to update the public on the event related to the just concluded 15th edition OIC Banjul Summit held on the 4th and 5th May 2024. Speaking at the press conference, Dr. Ismaila Cisse, the Minister of Information, highlighted the importance of hosting the summit in the Gambia. He said the Gambia will be in the world map for achieving significant strides in the world through peaceful dialogue between countries.
Work has started. Remember also on the sidelines of the OIC were bilaterals, where the president had to meet other presidents also to discuss issues affecting not only the OIC but also the Muslim Ummah. It means that Gambia will be on the world map dealing with issues in Palestine, pushing for an immediate and sustained ceasefire in Gaza, pushing for humanitarian access to humanitarian aid in Gaza, pushing for peace in Sudan, and so on and so forth.
The minister also thanked everyone who have contributed in making the summit a success. He observes that the summit would not have been successful without the support of the OIC Secretariat, the security, the president, his colleague ministers, and the media. The Chief Executive Officer of the OIC Gambia Secretariat, Yankuba Diba, also emphasized on the positive outcome of the summit. Diba described the Banjul Summit as the best ever attended summit by the world leaders.
We've had a very, very successful summit by all counts, both logistical, management, in terms of also because summits are evaluated not by the beauty of the roads and so on and so forth. It's by the quality of declarations, quality of communiques that arise from the summit. And I'm here to tell you that we've come up with the best outcomes that any summit can expect. We have been lucky to attend several such summits and extraordinary summits, but I must say that by rating, this particular summit, the 15th Summit of Heads of State, is by no means one of the best that the OIC has ever organized.
Diba also said this summit was a great opportunity to promote peace and stability in all the OIC member countries. Meanwhile, Fali Fadera, head of branding and communication at the OIC Secretariat, gave an overview of the just concluded Banjul Summit, saying they were able to raise $350 million, which was invested in the project.
For you to successfully measure the performance of any endeavor, you have to look at the key performance indicators and judge them by that. And if you look at the Secretariat and our track record, we have done exceptionally well in all these areas. For example, in terms of the resource mobilization, we managed to raise well over $350 million, which were plowed back into very significant socio-economic development projects, starting with roads, the airport, this conference center, and a host of other sectors. The contribution of the Secretariat is not only limited to the 5 strategic projects that I mentioned, but even the softer components like health, security, the media.
At the OIC Banjul Summit, the member states of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation have called for immediate and unconditional ceasefire and cessation of all forms of aggression against Palestinian people in Gaza. Despite this important call, Israel has continued its aggression on the Palestinian population. The Israel ministry has seized control of the Gaza Strip side of Rafah border crossing with Egypt, moving forward with an offensive in the southern city for a ceasefire deal with the Hamas hung in the balance. Reporting for Eyeafrica News, I am Aissatou Jammeh.